The jeweller. The cacophony of noise hit Necro with physical force as he picked his way along the streets of Mumbai. Even at night, this city was hard for him, used as he was to cool, quiet, and dark places. The humid heat, along with the incessant torrent of people, traffic, and blaring horns, was jangling his psyche. He decided he was going to get this mission over and done with as fast as possible. Through his networks, Saphira had managed to find and arrange a meeting with the jeweller. Necro set about making his way to the meeting point, an open-air rooftop bar, which few people seemed to know about when he asked for directions. The building at the address he had been given was down a side alley and was shabby to the point of looking as if it should have been condemned. He got into a worryingly rickety-looking antique lift, clanged the cage door shut, and rode slowly up to the 8th floor. As he emerged onto the roof, the sound and smells of the city below faded away. He knew there was a full moon, though it was too well cloaked by cloud to cause him a problem. The place belied its decrepit facade. His eyes took in old-world glamour, heavy wooden fixtures, and luxurious furnishings. Ornate brass lanterns glowed softly. He inhaled the scent of sandalwood incense carried on the warm night air. A number of patrons were gathered at the bar and around tables, with many engaged in low conversation over semi-private tables screened with sheer, bronze-coloured drapes that shifted in the gentle breeze. The bar was a pleasant murmur, not the raucous hubbub he had expected. This meeting was a gamble, and he did not know if it would pay off. He made his way to the appointed table and pulled aside the gossamer curtain. Across the table sat the most striking-looking woman Necro had ever seen. She was a few years older than him. Her espresso-coloured hair fell in loose waves around her face, and her tawny eyes reflected the flickering light from the lantern at the side of the table. Her burnt orange sari complemented her brown skin. She wore a gold stud in her nose. A delicate jewelled necklace sat at her throat. "I'm looking for the jeweller," he said. The woman greeted him with a charming, almost flirtatious look. "And here she is." "She? You?" The woman motioned for him to sit down. As he did so, Necro made a mental note to stay focused on the task at hand, and not the distracting creature in front of him. The two looked at each other in silence for a few moments. "I'm here to make a deal with you, something of value you can trade for something I've been told you can help me with," said Necro. "Now what have you got that I might want?" the jeweller asked, the hint of a tease in her voice. "The only copy of years' worth of research by an international team of leading scientists. Research that is about to make global headlines, one way or another." "And?" Necro leaned forward over the table and kept his voice low. "The research is called the Rapa Nui Gene Project. Rapa Nui is the Polynesian name for Easter Island, a Pacific civilization believed to have collapsed around the 17th century. The island population became obsessed with building large statues, apparently having no regard to the environmental destruction they were inflicting on their own life support systems, and despite being completely dependent on the resources in their immediate surroundings. It has become a Terran metaphor for concern about the collapse of civilization on a global scale." "I am aware of it, though the reason for the collapse of that civilization in the Pacific is contested, yes?" said the jeweller, as she poured a gold-coloured liquid into a small crystal glass. "Drink?" Necro ignored her offer. "The Rapa Nui Gene Project research proves that Terrans are biologically hardwired to bring about their own destruction," he said. "This is of interest to Terran climate deniers." The jeweller paused mid-pour and looked sideways at Necro. Her interest at last kindled. "The research also shows that it's possible for Terrans to override their genetic programming with gene editing nanotechnology. This is of interest to Terrans who are seeking to avert catastrophic climate change." What elements of this research are released, and by whom, will have critical political, economic, and social implications. I see. Now we have a basis for some negotiation, the jeweller said. She finished pouring her drink and took a sip, her cat-like eyes on Necro all the while. Where is this material? Necro placed the memory stick with Lightstone's research and the capsule containing the gene editing nanotech on the table between them. He kept his fingers on the stick. The jeweller's eyes slid slowly from the stick back to Necro's face. There are people I can offer this to who would be anxious to have it, and to influence what is released and how, she said. But why did you not offer it to your Terran allies? They have not been able to provide me with a superconductor, though many promises have been made over the years. According to one of our intelligence agents, it is you who can deliver a superconductor. And I know which Terrans will pay you the largest sum for the information, so that it will be released to serve Nautilin interests. Now, show me the Saturnian diamond. I don't have it. The jeweller's mouth smiled at Necro, but her eyes did not. Though he was looking at the same person, he realised her warmth and beauty had gone. Without the mask of charm, her true nature was evident. Her visage was that of a calculating mercenary, not of an exotic dealer in rare gems. What do you mean you don't have it? Growled Necro. I can tell you where you will find it. The deal was to assist you in sourcing a superconductor. I know exactly where it will be heading. Where it will be heading? The deal was the memory stick for the diamond, Necro hissed. It was all he could do to not launch himself across the table and submit her to the kiss. The jeweller's eyes were cold. The deal was to source a superconductor. Where is it? You will find it in the Doomsday Vault in Svalbard, Norway. The what? Where? The Global Seed Bank, established on the Norwegian island of Svalbard several years ago. It is a state-of-the-art seed storage facility that stores copies of seeds to protect against their loss through sabotage, war, climate change, accident, natural disaster, you name it. It will enable key crops to be re-established if needed. Hence its nickname, the Doomsday Vault. Necro tilted his head sideways. Why would a seed bank need a superconductor? The jeweller shrugged. Necro's eyes narrowed. She knew more than she was telling him. His mother's spy had advised that the Saturnian diamond had vanished from NASA's research facility 18 months ago. How could it be possible that there were experiments with seeds that required a superconductor? Necro rose. He left the memory stick on the table. The jeweller would ensure it was bought by those whose interests aligned with his. At least now he had a solid lead on a superconductor that was powerful enough for his purposes, if this woman was telling the truth. He paused on the other side of the sheer curtain without looking back at her. You'll be seeing me again, if what I seek is not where you say it is. He did not see the jeweller gazing steadily at him, her face devoid of expression.